Hello Internet, and welcome to my review for Attack on Titan episode 39. This is a couple days late, but as I mentioned in my last two anime reviews, this is the last time for a while we're going to be having these late videos. I've just been really busy the past few days, and now that's all taken care of, I can get back to business as usual. And so, when we last left off, the gang were trying to funnel Eren and Historia through Trost, get them past the military police. But that didn't work when Levi's old caretaker slash serial killer, Kenny, showed up with his band of henchmen to try to kidnap Eren and Historia. Which is where we open up on this episode, and good God, the camera work in that first scene when Levi is trying to escape from the roof is so good. The way it just follows Levi and I can't even describe it. It's just so good. It's so good. There's also more great camera work as Levi is still running away, right when he heads into the bar. That scene is just so entrancing. It's just a lot of fun. And then we get to the bar, and Levi and Kenny have this conversation about how there's kind of they're wondering how each of them ended up in their current position, which makes me very curious about why exactly Levi was with this guy. What exactly is going on in their past? How did Levi go from a serial killer's, follower, I guess. I'm not entirely sure what their backstory was, to, one of the leaders of the scout regiment. There's a lot I don't really know there. I'm kind of curious to see I'm very curious to see where that will lead us to as the series progresses. Hopefully by the end of the season. I can't imagine that'll get pumped out to season 4, I imagine that'll be relatively soon. By the end of this arc, I imagine. We're going to get a lot more Levi backstory. And then we get back to all of the, adrenaline-pumping action. There's just so much fun in this arc, in this episode, of, everyone spinning around the city, the human-on-human combat that we've never really gotten from the series. It's just a lot of fun to watch. There's just not a whole lot to say about it, other than it's just really fucking good. The whole scene, it's just such a whirlwind. I can't even really describe it. But by the end of it, Jean is on the cart with Eren and Historia, who are knocked out, with the one member of Kenny's group, and Jean has his sword at her throat, and I love the fact that he just can't do it. This comes up a lot in this episode, the added weight of killing a human as opposed to killing a Titan. And I really do like that. They've never really thought about having to kill, another flesh and blood person. So I found that to be a lot of fun. And then, it looks like Jean gets shot, and Titan's having another grisly death. And then we cut away to deal with the Royals for a little while. More on them in a little bit. And then we cut back and see the shot was actually Armin saving Jean. Which then leads to another interesting point of conflict, as the hesitation is kind of hints at in Jean, it comes out in full force with Armin, as he deals with the fact that he did just murder a person. He never actually killed another human being before. I don't think I've ever actually seen him kill a Titan either, but that's besides the point. But I do love in that scene where they're in the little warehouse thing, as Jean and Armin kind of comfort each other over what just happened. I've always loved Jean and Armin's friendship, really ever since the female Titan arc back in season 1. And it's a lot of fun to see them here, just looking out for each other, being friends. I think that's a really good, character thing. And then we get we see the boss guy from the Trost arc, which is a nice little callback to that with, what's his name? It's something Reeves. He dies at the end of the episode, by the way, okay, whatever. But it's nice to be reminded that this is not that big a world, because we see these large expanses of forest, and I don't know, it's kind of, the world is kind of seems bigger than it's supposed to be, and seeing that random guy from Trost back again here definitely reminds us this is not a big world, and normally that's kind of a bad thing, but I feel in a series that's all about being trapped in walls, it kind of works for the better. And then, so there's a scene with Erwin and Niall, and we find out that they have some kind of past together, but we don't get to really hear their conversation. But he leaves, and then Hanji shows up, and she tells Eren that Eren and Historia are captured, and something that we don't really see, except from the declaration that if whatever Hanji has learned is right, that Eren will be eaten. Which makes me think, I swear to fucking God, if the Royals are Titans, whoo boy. Like, that's just a lot. Yeah, if the Royals are Titans, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. That's just... Okay, that's my current theory, though. The Royals are gonna try to be Titans. Just a reminder, if anyone has read the manga, don't talk about it here. This is an anime-only page. I have never read the manga. I tried to once, and the art was just so bad I couldn't do it. But yeah, it's kind of, you know. So we have that little bit with Hanji and Erwin, and then we go back to Levi, who's used the Reeves guy to capture some MPs and is now torturing them to get information about Eren and Historia. I don't really know how I feel about this. Because, like, the scouts are supposed to be the good guys, and they jump immediately to just torturing the shit out of this dude. And I don't quite like it, I feel like. You know, it's just... it's kind of, you know, who are the... It's a weird who are the real monsters kind of deal that I don't think quite works as intended, because there's not enough of the condemnation that I feel like should be necessary for this to work. No one's, like, Jean kind of does, and that's nice. But even he's like, but it's still to, you know, help our people, so that's kind of excuses it. Which is, I mean, I guess, you know, but I'm still not the biggest fan of that little tidbit there. So yeah, then we go back into the torture chamber. And the MP they've got, San, as we find out is his name, has this claim that, like, he's never seen anyone love torture like the scouts. Right when he goes into this big montage of, like, sure, we have to torture people, but that's just to protect others. And we see him, like, see some MPs, I'm not sure if it's him or not, like, burning this teacher, and they're having so much fun with it that I kind of find it hard to believe the MP's claim. I think he's just kind of, like, trying to, like, unnerve them, and it doesn't really work, because he still ends up giving all the answers. And they do that by having one of the other MPs, like, force him to read lines that makes it seem like he's already confessed, writing, like, the accidental view of Sanus, which is a nice trick. Even if it's a little funny how, like, they walk into the room, and you're just like, yep, Reiss is the real royal family, which, there's a plot twist. Like, I don't really know what to take of that, especially given the fact that we haven't really seen a whole lot of the king before last episode. So, you know, Historia being the real heir to the royal family or whatever, I guess that's what she is. Kind of, I feel like it could have more impact if we had really seen the fact that this was a monarchy more. I mean, like, we've known that, like, there's a king, but, like, the king hasn't really done much before last episode. So I'm not exactly the biggest fan of that twist. But speaking of another twist, Levi's last name. He's an Ackerman, as is Mikasa. So I don't really know what to take of that one. Are they related? Are they not related? I don't know. I don't want it to be some long-lost brother bullshit. That would be super dumb. All I'm going to say on that. I really don't want that to be what happens. But yeah, that's kind of leads us to the end of the episode. Other than seeing Historia's dad is super creepy with her. It's just like something about his eyes. Also, there's this one bit. So we see the teacher, right? That the scouts mentioned they've like that the MPs mentioned that they had to like burn for learning too much or something. And then in the next time preview, we see a flashback of Erwin and a teacher who looks a lot like that teacher. So I imagine next week, as we get more into Erwin's backstory, we're going to get a lot of answers on that soon. Oh, also, forgot to mention at this point in the video, Kenny shows up and kills Reeves. Like, super, you know, don't betray people, you stupid merchants, and, like, slits his throat. Right before he reveals Levi's last name. But anyway, yeah, that's really everything that happened in this episode. So my general, I'm really digging this episode. There are some choices I'm a little bit iffy on. The quickness of torture, the sudden importance of the royal family that just never really has come up before. If you know they had from the beginning brought up, oh, the royal family is around, then maybe Historia being the real heir would have a bit more weight to it. But as it stands, it just kind of feels just slightly out of left field. All I'm going to say on that one. But all in all, this was some great action, some great work, especially with Armin, some great character work, especially with Armin and Jean, and good moving into the next part of the arc as everyone tries to head to where Reiss is to rescue Historia and Eren. So I'm still looking forward a whole lot to next week's episode on Sunday. And I hope you all enjoyed the episode and the video. If you did, feel free to drop me a like, subscribe, or whatever the fuck you want. I don't really care. And as always, people, keep kicking ass, and I'll see you in the future. Bye.